Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Another opportunities are coming. The life is changing. We have now here in the crypto space a really big opportunity. But we don't want talking around these things because I know you have not much time. We have not much time. Nobody have much time because we have to look through the whole ecosystem what are now building on the crypto, on the blockchains, on the entire ecosystems. And there are amazing stuff now going on, and we will take a look actually on a few of them, because we have here or many narratives are changing, and many things are building in a new and ecosystem, or blockchains are building amazing stuff like Solana is growing like crazy. I want to show you actually where we can find this, but in the first sense we want to take a look on the speech of the co-founder of the Iota foundation of the Iota protocol, ladies and gentlemen. This amazing young guy is from Germany. Actually, a big shout out to Berlin. I'm here from Cologne, but in Berlin is the foundation, and der Sitz von Iota ist in Berlin. Also herzlichen Glückwunsch. And actually, they are building. A few days ago, they had announced that the smart contracts are actually now prepared for launching, and they was testing now in the beta phase the whole things. And in the end, we will see also any potential upcoming projects or dexes. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned until the very end, because we have here really important things. The speech is from 2 days or three days ago from the co-founder Dominic, I think is his name. But we will go now directly in the content, because we have not so much time, and we want to clarify much as possible things here. What is going with the Iota, ladies and gentlemen? They have launched already 2015, but they were layer 1, and this means they had no construction of solidity, and they have no robust framework to build actually with smart contracts, with any other things. And now they have grown, they have done amazing stuff, worked or actually hard, and are building now potentially amazing things. But stay tuned, we go directly in my screen to see what is going on, ladies and gentlemen.
Those were basically the old the Chrysalis upgrade.
So we want to see, yes, we are here inside, where we find actually these things, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing here in Luna Crush. Stay tuned from Luna Crush, but this is only a small part. I want to take you a little bit in mind. Luna Crush is a analyzing software where Telegram, Reddit, the influencers from YouTube, from every piece in the entire internet, they are taking so much informations out, and there you can find really amazing analysis. But anyway, we go now here directly in the content, because we want to see here what is the Dominic saying here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now we are back. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the co-founder of Iota, and in his talk, Smart Contracts beta release, he is mentioning many of interesting facts, ladies and gentlemen. we will take a part and we will look and hear this guy out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's look what he's saying.
We have a very exciting release today. I think next to the Chrysalis upgrade, smart contracts is probably the most desired and also the most impactful release for Iota, simply because it allows us to go from a protocol where you can do transactions in a very efficient manner to a protocol that you can program with, right? And I think this sort of jump from the current Iota 1.5 version to this Iota programmable multi-asset ledger is sort of the main theme over the next few months. And I think it's really important that we give you guys the insights into what that actually means and why it's important, and really just give you the information that is needed to also participate more, right? Because at the end of the day, we are here to build an ecosystem together with all of you.
This means they are building here now amazing things, and this dude, big shout out to Berlin, ladies and gentlemen, is standing his man in a speech of 54 minutes, who is where is he actually mentioning all the insights, all the informations about the ecosystem, what they are building and what they are doing, ladies and gentlemen. If you hear now and we go through any sections, because I have here already that I have done the homework for you guys, because we are one community. We all want to be a little bit independent. This means I have done for now the research, and I have looked at the whole speech. The 1 hour, it's a little bit more, less, but we will go through the sections here and pick us the important information what we need. At the beginning, he's talking about the ecosystem, what they are building, and they are now releasing the smart contracts, the beta version. This means they want to try at before they launch it in a mainnet. They want to try also the functionality also. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's go.
So today we are doing a specific show on smart contracts. Maybe something beforehand, right? So the release just started today, and what the release included was the launch of the smart contracts node software, right? The entire network is basically online now. So that means you can actually deploy your own node. You can join the smart contracts network. And obviously the main highlight of all of this is you can deploy and you can interact with smart contracts. And that's sort of the main thing that we'll dive into today, but we'll also give you guys a lot more information, right? In like tutorials, how-tos and guides, and also like more example use cases over the next few days and weeks, so that all of you can really participate and engage in this release.
Yes, we want it. And ladies and gentlemen, only one thing I want to say before we go on. You will see now here in the whole speech, it's an interesting project, because they are docking, or they are quasi building like Polkadot or the Ethereum, the layer system, yeah, where the scalability is possible with sharding of the networks, yeah. This means Polkadot is also doing the same, like the same thing. Is not okay. I know it's in the coding, it's in the security, it's everything a little bit diverse, other coding and other system, but in the big bird look, what we want every time to mention, what we want to talk about it, what is at first important, that the guys are building in an ecosystem where the blockchains can also dock on, be secured from the Iota ecosystem, and they are able to connect all blockchains together and let them communicate. Okay, let's talk the maestro. Here it is.
Something important to keep in mind is that the release is on the 2.0 DevNet, i.e. the fully decentralized version of Iota. The main reason for that is this is still a beta version, right? So we want to make sure that the software itself works and functions properly. And we are right now working on the sort of integration of smart contracts and the integration of tokenization on the mainnet, right? But we'll dive deeper into that. So let me share my screen.
Okay, you share
And
now.
today we have a reliable network where transactions confirm in about 10 seconds, where it's scalable, where it's robust, where it's basically ready to build on. And this was the very important premise. And before we could actually do the more exciting stuff, and before we could go from this single asset ledger, which is really there to do transactional settlement, to this programmable ledger. And so Chrysalis was a big success in that regard.
Let's do it a little bit.
Right, it's seen
high definition.
75% of the supply migrate so far. So that's billions of dollars that were bridged from the old network to the new network in a fully decentralized way, right? So that's very exciting.
What is a very exciting? Let's.
Asset ledger, which is really there to do transactional settlement, to this programmable ledger. And so Chrysalis was a big success in that regard. Right, it's seen 75% of the supply migrate so far. So that's billions of dollars that were bridged from the old network to the new network in a fully decentralized way, right? So that's very exciting. And we've also seen a lot more increase in developer adoption, right? Applications being built and the exchanges and so on actually integrating Iota. Now,
what is the interesting what this guy is saying? This means we want to take an Analyse and we want to take his words and we'll split it in informations what we also need, ladies and gentlemen. He's already talking about DEXs, about developers, about applications what are going to build or are building now on the Iota ecosystem. This means, ladies and gentlemen, if we take it a little bit easier or we take it a little bit smartness, I know you guys are also smart, because why not? Why you're not smart? You are smart, I know it. We had Ethereum opened the smart contracts, and then initially we had the DEXs. The DEXs is one of the important things where the financial institutions and everything what is financially is happening. This means on a decentralized exchange, what a DEX means, where when they are starting to build on a ecosystem like Ethereum, like Iota, like on Cardano, maybe now in the near future, maybe then on Polkadot on their chains, what they are launching with the crowd loan. On Solana, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have or on Avalanche. This means every time when a DEX was initially opened on a blockchain, on a project like Iota or like others, where on the smart contracts, we have massive opportunities. One potential DEX we will mention in the end of the video, because this is the quasi importance and the best opportunity for us, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We will take a quick overview, quick look about Dominic. I think Dominic is his name. Let me look a little bit. But actually we have him here. Dominic, yes, Dominic Schiener, chairman of the board of directors and co-founder, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is importantly for Iota, and he's talking about the project like 1 hour, and we have to hear about this because you know when it's Jerome Powell is talking on the Bloomberg, on CNBC, on I don't know. Also here in the Europe from the central banks, when the guys are talking in the press conferences, everybody is hearing because the informations we need them. Rather, we buy or we have to sell the products. This means we have now the opportunity to hear out the project in the whole functions, and then to decide if it is going to success or not. Okay, let's dive inside. Bam.
The big question that you always have to ask yourself is like, what can you really build with the protocol, right? So right now the focus so far has been on data use cases where you secure data, right? That's why we have Project Elvaria, those companies. That's why we work with ST Microelectronics, for example, to integrate Iota into chips so that we can actually secure the data from there. And with that, you can then also extend it, right? You can sort of extend the protocol by relying on some of the frameworks that are built on top of Iota. And digital identity is one of those frameworks. And the other very obvious use case of Iota is payments, right? We have a token that you can transfer very efficiently without any transaction fees.
Without any transaction fees. Did I hear right, or I have anything here inside in my ears? Ladies and gentlemen, we have here now a new stuff going on the chains. This means the chains are trying now to overbeat the other. Solana is amazingly cheap and with highly transactions possibility. Ethereum was slow and is with 16 until 25 transactions per second, a really slow ledger. This means the upcoming projects are quasi doing a battling about the transaction fees, because we have seen it on Ethereum. Ethereum has amazing high gas fees, because when the transactions increases, they are not possible to scale out and do the transaction fees lower. In this case, we have another solution, and this is also bullish for us.
But you're sort of limited in that capacity, right? And this is really where smart contracts come into play. Because smart contracts go from a limited set of use cases to an unlimited set of use cases, where it's really up to the builder to build whatever they imagine. And this has really been something that we've always strived for to enable on Iota, because it is a crucial, I would say tool, but also really a crucial feature for us to make Iota competitive in the market, and to really make sure that Iota is being utilized in the real world, but also being utilized in the crypto world. And that is exactly what Iota smart contracts was for. So Iota smart contracts was properly started, I think, about 2 years ago. It sort of came out of the whole cubic era or time, and we took some of the pieces of it, namely setting up quorum-based computation, right? And utilize it in a much more efficient, or actually implement it in a much more efficient and actually viable way, right? And the main idea behind smart contracts on Iota, it's actually relatively simple. Wait, my computer just had an output problem. But the main idea behind smart contracts is relatively simple. You are essentially launching block.
I understand you, brother. I understand you. If you want to make a presentation and then your computer goes down, it will happen another time. Stay tuned.
Chains on top of Iota, right? We have this base layer which is Iota, which is a DApp, right? It's the tangle, where we don't have any blocks and we don't have any chain. And the big problem with that is that the transactions are not really ordered, right? And as such, you would actually have a very difficult time doing smart contracts on layer one. And that has always been sort of the criticism of IOTA, that you can't do smart contracts on the base layer. And quite frankly, we never wanted to do smart contracts on the base layer, simply because we always wanted to have this modular approach where you have the base layer, which just does transaction settlement. You can think about the IOTA base layer really as this trust anchor, right? Where you
Wait, maybe we can find this in high resolution, ladies and gentlemen. Explore Iota solution DAC, the technology. They have wiki Iota, ladies and gentlemen. This is only amazing because this is here core functionality library, and then you can go through all things. Overview. Okay, now we have it here, and we will start this boy talking.
where you secure assets, the IOTA token, and where you can now also secure smart contracts.
Let's hear this actually, because this is the framework, this is the
which is a DApp, right? It's the tangle. Essentially launching blockchains on top of IOTA, right? We have this base layer, which is Iota, which is a DApp, right? It's the tangle, where we don't have any blocks and we don't have any chain. And the big problem with that is that the transactions are not really ordered, right? And as such, you would actually have a very difficult time doing smart contracts on layer one. And that has always been sort of the criticism of IOTA, that you can't do smart contracts on the base layer. And quite frankly, we never wanted to do smart contracts on the base layer, simply because we always wanted to have this modular approach where you have the base layer, which just does transaction settlement. You can think about the IOTA base layer really as this trust anchor, right? Where you secure data, where you secure assets, the IOTA token, and where you can now also secure smart contracts. And on top of that base layer, you would then actually be able to build your own smart contracts by utilizing the framework that we've built. Now, the way that it works,
this means they actually at the beginning don't want to make this with the DeFi and the transaction with actually this smart contracts, yes, with the intelligent smart contracts, and this is also the reason why they stayed now for 1-2 years behind the scenes working on the smart contracts, because they actually wanted, if you go on the page of them here, ladies and gentlemen, we see what is the Iota open source technology. We go here on the first page, securing data. Iota protects the integrity and variability of data. They want to secure data, empowering people. Iota helps people secure and navigate their digital lives. This means they want to connect the Internet of Things, means that the whole world is connected, and getting a little bit smarter. This in this case have they had no need for smart contracts also, yeah, to develop to launch the smart contracts. Now they came out with that because they also see the need of and if they don't do this now, the other competitors will run away and they never catch them again, because with smart contracts they can build amazing things, and also other applications can build, or other they can now integrate from the Ethereum or for other chains, the developers on their chain, and let them grow and also build amazing stuff actually on the Iota framework. Yeah, this is an amazing idea, and this what we have talking about in the last videos. If you have not seen, ladies and gentlemen, the cross chaining. The cross chain is now the new world in the scene. This means we need cross chaining, we need any swap, we need also on Phantom. They are building amazing bridges, and they want to connect all blockchains together, and this is it also what Iota want to do. We go now again straightforward, because I have the feeling we don't end this today. Okay.
Is relatively simple, right? So you have a smart contract, which is sort of its own blockchain network. And in this blockchain network, you have ordered transactions, right, that get secured in these blocks. And each block then gets secured on the Iota ledger, right? As such, we actually make these smart contracts immutable. So nobody can actually change the smart contract after they've been secured on Iota, which is obviously crucial for security. And very exciting is that we make these smart contracts now interoperable, because all of these smart contracts that are built on top of the base layer are able to communicate with each other by sending transactions on the layer one. And this was sort of the major thinking behind doing Iota smart contracts. So we don't.
Okay, hear this really nice out, ladies and gentlemen. I know I don't want to stop you much times, but this is really important. Every blockchain on the layer one of the Iota can dock quasi or build on Iota, get secured from the Iota ecosystem, and they can interact each with another. This is a really big and sexy stuff.
Build it into the base layer, rather we build it on the layer on top, right? So the second layer, where each smart contract becomes its own blockchain and is being secured by the Iota network and by the Iota tangle.
Like Polkadot.
And that's sort of the main gist behind it. And it's very easy to explain, right? We're doing blockchains on top of Iota, which is kind of an interesting and a very exciting thought. Now, it's obviously a little bit more complex than that if we think about the consensus, the state transitions, and all of that. But that's sort of the main summary of it. Now, works and to see what is actually possible. And since then, the team has really done a tremendous job in going towards this beta release. And as I already mentioned before, what this beta release includes now is actually the ability to deploy your own nodes and to start building. And that's why we are very excited about this, because usually beforehand, it wouldn't have been reliable enough to build on. But now we actually have the opportunity for all of you to start building. And I would say the major highlight of this release as well is that we support multiple virtual machines. So if you think about this architecture here, ISCP, so Iota Smart Contracts, is sort of a framework to do smart contracts on top of Iota, right? The framework actually defines the security, the consensus, the cryptography, and all of that, so that you can then deploy your own smart contract chain. And this smart contract chain is then being secured by the Iota ledger.
Amazing.
Now, the major claim to fame for Iota smart contracts is its flexibility. right? We don't actually care which kind of smart contracts you run on top. It's an agnostic execution layer, right? Because at the end of the day, the principle is simple, right? We just need to secure the state of these smart contracts. We need to get the requests in, and then we secure it on the base layer, which is Iota. And what this means actually is that you can run different virtual machines, and you can also utilize different smart contract languages. So unlike other projects who have invested a lot of money into building their own smart contract language, we take a very different approach, and we actually want to adopt as many smart contract languages as possible. And what that means is that you can actually utilize your most favorite smart contract language on Iota smart contracts, right? So we're starting out with Rust. So you can build smart contracts in Rust that are then being compiled into WebAssembly. You can build them in Go, like a derivative of Go, which is TinyGo. And very important is that you can actually build them in Solidity. And
actually Solidity, Ethereum, and everything what is really in the mainstream and everybody knows is on Solidity build. This means, ladies and gentlemen, they take the three core or the three layers or the languages, and bring it also in their ecosystem. Yes, this means the projects what want to connect with them, they can have diversified languages, and they can also integrate in their ecosystem. I think this is also amazing.
And I think this is one of the major points, right? Because at this point, I would say that the Ethereum virtual machine, so the Ethereum virtual machine is sort of defines how the Solidity smart contracts and how smart contracts in Ethereum in general are being executed, right? So we've taken this Ethereum virtual machine from Ethereum and we've sort of integrated it into our smart contracts framework. That means that today you can actually deploy your own Ethereum virtual machine smart contract chain on top of Iota, right? And the main reason why that is super important is because now every smart contract that has been deployed on Ethereum can also be deployed on Iota, right? And it can also, here with adopting the Ethereum virtual machine, is to make it easy for all of the developers in the Ethereum ecosystem, but also the developers in the Iota ecosystem, to start building Solidity smart contracts and to start contributing to this entire ecosystem that has already been built. And I think this is really one of the major
Amazing. Let's go.
Right, the base layer is meant to have no transaction fees at all. You send 1 Iota, you receive 1 Iota. Right? And I think that's actually a very important step towards mainstream adoption. Now, obviously, there's no denial that we're kind of late to the smart contracts game, because Ethereum has been live since 2016, right? I think 2016 was. They have had billions of dollars invested into their ecosystem, which is really great, right? And they have like a lot of adoption already. And the question is like, how do we actually intend to compete, and how is our solution different than others? Why should actually developers care?
And now we want also to hear this guy out, because he's actually the co-founder. His strategy, he is in a few sentences saying that he knows actually that they are a little bit late with the smart contracts, but now comes his excuse and his also statement, what they are thinking, what they can build actually in the future, and how long it will take also, ladies and gentlemen. Let me only see here
about it. And so I think from our perspective, our focus is really how do we actually reach mainstream adoption? Because today's solutions, they're very exciting, right? But they all have their limitations, they all have their drawbacks, and they actually inhibit growth because of certain architecture limitations, right? For example, in Ethereum today, you still need to have Ether tokens in order to transact with any other kind of debt, right? With any other type of coin, simply because Ethereum, the Ether token, is being utilized as the gas. And for example, recently I received USDC. I was on a different laptop and I didn't have any Ether tokens. So I was like, damn, like how do I transfer these stable coins now? And I think that's just one example that just shows you that we're still very early in the adoption of all of these technologies, right? MetaMask, which is the most popular wallet, has about 10 million users each month. And the entire crypto space probably has like a few dozen million users, and DeFi probably even less, right? And so we're still very early, and there's some great opportunities here to really establish yourself as a new solution that takes a different approach, has a different architecture than others, and is able to sort of innovate further and especially innovate on the usability side, right? And I think the usability side has been a big focus when coming up with Iota smart contracts.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's look
Architecture,
forward.
the way that we've designed it, it offers a unique environment for developers. So we didn't copy other solutions, right? We really built this over the last 2 years from the ground up.
Important also statement, ladies and gentlemen, they have not incentivized, or they don't copy it any other things. This means we need here innovations what are not ton times copied and now taken another and a few new things. This means we have here a chance to participate in a project who is now taking place in the market, and with a billions of capitalization, ladies and gentlemen. I think three and a half billion dollar market capitalization. They are not so small. They have really good people behind them, a big team, and the many of companies are standing behind them. Yeah, this means if when they do a feeless transaction solution with over 1,000 transactions per second and much more in the future, we believe it to be the perfect trust anchor and sharded security layer for Iota smart contracts.
And it's very like we are very happy, and we are also very excited about the future of these smart contracts, because we truly believe that they solve problems that we are seeing today, and that they really offers a solution to what the market wants. One thing I want to highlight is it's kind of interesting how similar these approaches are, right? Because what we have in Ethereum today is we have rollups, right? We have rollups and sidechains. I think rollups are a lot more exciting in Ethereum, because they take a similar approach as well, where you have the base layer, and then you're able to launch new smart contract chains, so to say, or rollups in their lingo, on top of Ethereum. Now, the difficulty there is actually how do you enable the interoperability and the composability of these different rollups, because each of those is sort of like its own contained environment. And also Polkadot has a sort of similar architecture where they have the relay chain, which is sort of the main hub, and the parachains. And they, like all three of us, I think also Cosmos is also somewhat similar, have a similar architecture and a similar approach. And that just shows you that this is really the way that this is the most sensible approach to build.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I hear right, he is comparing Ethereum, Polkadot, and Iota. That means they have the same vision of the environment, what they want to build, and this is also a big step for us, because if we see Ethereum with 400-500 billion market capitalization, we see now Polkadot with the crowd loans and action and the crowd loans and the auctions are going like crazy over 40. I mean 40. I don't want to go now out, but 40-45 billion dollar market capitalization, and we have here Iota with 3.5, maximal 4 if anything today is happen, market capitalization. This means a still 10x from now. If we get in the near position of Polkadot, but Polkadot, you have to mention, or you have to keep in mind that they are now starting with their environment to building. Yes, also they are doing the same now.
Up smart contracts that are actually scalable and that actually are able to meet the demands to go mainstream, right? Obviously, each of those has different like details, how it's implemented and how it's working, but it's sort of like
Okay, let's see.
And I mean, the obvious ones are scalability, right? That's already what we mentioned. One of the major innovations of what we're doing is actually our tokenization framework. So if you remember with Chrysalis, the main thinking behind it was actually that we upgrade the base layer to UTXO, which is unspent transaction outputs, and we actually make it possible to program those transactions. So what you can do with that then is you can actually add digital assets, i.e. you can color tokens, or you can also add more complex logic onto the base layer. It basically defines the conditions under which transactions are confirmed, i.e. where they can be spent, or where you can also specifically color or define certain transactions, right, with data and so on and so forth. Now, what we've been working on is obviously defining this tokenization framework for the Iota mainnet. And the team is currently working on finalizing the proposal, which will then publish to the community in the next couple of weeks, so that all of you will better understand what does it actually mean that the Iota base layer becomes programmable. What it really means for us is that now we have a layer 1, where we can do tokenization, where we can do digital assets, NFTs, and all of that. And very exciting, where we then have these interactions with the layer 2. And both of them can actually interact with each other freely, right? Because Iota transactions are for free. You don't have to pay any transaction fees. And this is really where we see a lot of where we will see major innovations happening, where layer 2 smart contracts offer these limitless opportunities, and where layer 1 acts as this sort of very stable, very robust framework for doing tokenization. Now, the main reason why that is exciting for our smart contract solution is because the Iota layer is not just being used as a trust anchor for smart contracts, but is also being used actually as this interoperability framework. If you create an ERC20 token in your smart contract chain, you can actually wrap it or transfer it to the layer 1. And then with that asset on layer 1, you can then transfer it to another smart contract, or you can just keep it on layer 1, right? So all of these assets within this Iota ecosystem, or COSM, or whatever we call it, are fully composable, right? They can be transferred around a smart contract.
Basically, like in Polkadot, what they want to make now. They have a relay chain, and then you can dock with the projects on the chains, and then you can also communicate with all the chains. Basically, this is the guys say, with one exception. If you want to read this, the second highlight: flexible development environment to build your dApps tailored to your needs. Iota smart contracts enable you to use your preferred language. This means we have now the 3 languages: smart contract, virtual machine, self-defined fees for users. This means the users, what they are building on the blockchain, they can define also their fees for the users. They can set it on 0, they can set it a little bit higher, to give the validators all a little bit incentives for validators and community structure. the DF's customization and composability are now possible even on the base network layer. This means basically that they are building here amazing things, ladies and gentlemen.
Can interact with each other, and it really offers new possibilities.
The DApps, this means the applications what are built on the layer 2, they are now possible even to base on network layer. This means they all can interact and communicate with another, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing.
For this notion of Lego blocks, right? We have this in DeFi where smart contracts interact with each other by atomically and being able to completely interact with each other and transfer.
Let's look forward here.
Innovate on the usability side, right? Not just innovate on tokenomics or like hardcore financial incentives and so on, but really innovate on the usability side, which is where we also will see the next major innovations happening, right? We want to go mainstream. The third feature is that we already have sharding, right? This is already what I mentioned before. Fully EVM compatible. This is also what I already mentioned. And with this, we'll also be building a sort of bridge towards Ethereum. And already today, you can build smart contracts in 3 different languages. And I would say, like, what we're trying to achieve with all this is
basically saying la 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 la, these things is okay Iota and good, and maybe he takes a little bit of time. Maybe we wanted to take a little bit of time, but ladies and gentlemen, if these things blow up and the market continues to rising, we have here a beautiful opportunity.
It's not the Iota mainnet, obviously. Right? Now, the major focus for us is is actually bringing the tokenization framework and bringing Iota smart contracts onto the Iota mainnet. And this is really where the team has already begun the work. So we're already starting to implement this stuff. And over the next few weeks, we'll share the sort of RFC. So it's like a technical document that explains how the tokenization will work. We'll share it with all of you so you guys can contribute. I think it's very exciting. It's super exciting, actually, because it's probably going to be one of the key innovations of Iota. And in the meantime, we are always improving the smart contracts framework, and we're then integrating it onto the Iota mainnet. But as I already mentioned before, now is the time to start building, right? You guys can already start building smart contracts on top of it. So I know of a few teams that are starting to deploy some smart contracts over the next few days, so we can have fun playing around with it. But there's also some more serious teams that are really starting to take this seriously, and that are now really building up entire teams and building up entire projects. One of those is the Tanglesea team. So Tanglesea aims to be the first, or one of the first decentralized exchanges on top of Iota.
And this is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out, go out to Twitter and search Tanglesea and follow them, ladies and gentlemen. They guys want to be the first DEX on the Iota ecosystem, and they want potentially, we will mention them a little bit later, and we will follow them also. But if they gonna be the first DEX on the Iota ecosystem, they will rise like crazy.
From the looks of it, it looks really good. No insider info, but they've done a tremendous.
Okay, now his words. What they are telling, what they are telling me. He is happy. He is also talking about that this the homepage, and everything is looking amazing. He's not saying okay good or anything like that. He's saying amazing, and this is one sign for us that is really going on in hot stages, ladies and gentlemen. This TLC, it will be surprised if they not go out and be the DEX on Iota the first.
Tremendous job building their decks, and for over the next week they will be publishing more information about what Tanglesy is. Maybe they'll do a token, I don't know. Maybe they will deploy some smart contracts and stuff. So we can all have some fun and play around with it. And then there's also the NFT marketplace, and there's a few other projects that you guys will be able to deploy and to try with, right? But I think my main message is now is the time to build. And it's the permissionless validators. The major drawback,
of course, one thing is a little bit in the production in done, but also with positive vibes from him. And this is the permissionless chain validators. Now explained of the maestro himself.
Of Iota smart contracts, of this framework here, right? Whenever we talk about Iota smart contracts, you should think about a framework, right? A framework that helps you to deploy smart contracts on top of Iota. Now, this framework is sort of agnostic to the way that you choose your virtual machine or to the way that you choose your validators, because each smart contract chain is being secured by validators, right? 20, 30 validators that are securing your smart contract then. The way that it works right now is more permission, right? Where you define who the validators are. And that's great for sort of enterprise applications, but it's really not great for DeFi or for anything else. And as some community members have been saying for quite some time, is actually how do we make this permissionless? And we've been working on this for a little over a year now, I would say. And it was a lot of work behind the scenes, but we have really defined the path forward to enable these permissionless validators and to also define how we do this shared security, similar to what Polkadot has achieved, because security is everything, right? And we do not want to have chains that are being attacked or that are being, hostile takeovers or stuff like that, right? We really want to build a robust environment where you just deploy a smart contract and it works. And
in these words, we let it now for today because we already are getting out of time. We are running out of time, but here we have another few minutes behind, and he's talking about the foundation, and I don't know anything, but you can also see the full video here on the YouTube. Iota Talks Smart Contracts Beta Release. But actually he's talking, and he's every time comparing in his words with Ethereum and the Polkadot ecosystem. That means they have similar visions of the world, ladies and gentlemen. The guys will do, and I will follow them also on Twitter, on Instagram, and everywhere, to see what they are continuing to build. But I think if they continue like this and with this vision of integrating many blockchains and let them communicate with each others without any fees, and this is the important thing, then we can have a great grow of this project, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is from today a little bit much. It's 50 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you was watching me until the very end. You have seen here many of informations. Maybe you scroll back, you go and through the video another time, because Iota is a great project now, and we will follow them. And maybe it's not a short time thing. This means until January, or I don't know when, he 20x, or I don't know what. But if the project, if the team continues like this, to keeping on mind that the functionality and the security, what he is talking every time of the security, and this is really positive. This means if they are continuing to building like this, with this thinking or with this mind, we will actually have in the future a nice project going through the blockchains. Ladies and gentlemen, for this is it for today. If you have anybody, share this video. Iota will make gains, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we will see us in the next videos. Arrivederci.